Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of a double feature. As you are about to find out, we are going to be taking a look at a classic musical film, The Sound of Music. And if you haven't seen it, that is a real shame because it truly is one of the most classic musical films of all time. So if you haven't check that out, be sure to do so. And then we got a lot to talk about today, as usual, because Derik seems to appreciate this movie. What a surprise! I know.
Hey, I never said that.
All right. The tone in your review got me a little disturbed. So here's my first question.
In my defense, I said in my review that I was purposely trying to do that.
I guess that is true. Touche. Okay, so my first question is, you talk about, you're right. I mean, a musical is a very, it's sort of on that line of film because most of the time it comes from the stage. And so you've got that aspect of it, and then they're trying to recreate it, sort of for film. And I know this is, this is anything really debatable, but I guess I'm just curious, for a theatrical play production turned into film, why do you think this one worked so successfully?
I think the biggest thing that the film has going for it is it has just a solid storyline. And if we were going to make just a list of the plot points to hit, if you want a box office success of a film, this film hits about every single one of them. World War II and Nazis, check. Precocious children, check. True love, that's, gets off to a rocky start. Check.
Right. All right.
Nuns behaving badly. Check.
Right.
I mean, that and these, the songs, are just super catchy, and they got sucked into popular culture almost immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, the stage musical was already very successful before the movie was ever made, and the songs were really well known. So everything was just going for it that this movie was going to be a success, and then it was. And I think then just Julie Andrews and her just extremely good-natured persona of Maria, people like to gravitate towards that. She's happy, she's spunky, and she just carries that film all the way through.
No, I absolutely agree. Same thing with Mary Poppins. She just has that, I don't know. I don't know if charisma is a feminine term or if it's a masculine term, but she's got charisma. You know what I mean? She's just got that I think you're just drawn to her, whatever she does. In Mary Poppins, I thoroughly enjoyed that film because of her, and same thing with Sound of Music. I just think she's got that, just that charisma. I don't know. I can't think of another word. Speaking of the story, and kind of going off of what you said in your film, you had mentioned that you think the reason this film has withstood the test of time is because it's got this sort of religious motif going on throughout, and we as a society want to believe in something. So do you think in the next 60 years this film will still be around?
Yeah.
You still think that this religious motif of a film will still be held in such high regard?
Yeah. I do. I mean, because the reason why I say this is because there's no religion in this film. None. The closest we get is a few shots of Jesus on the cross or a cross.
Right.
And, there's some nuns walking around, but they're ripping cars apart. So nuns behaving badly.
Right.
And Maria, does this weird little prayer thing. It's a very Maria prayer. What got me thinking about this topic is I watched a Julie Andrews introduction to the 50th anniversary edition of the film, and she comes out and says that one of the reasons why this film is so popular is because it promotes faith, and that intrigued me. So I went and watched this film looking for the messages of faith, at least, traditionally speaking. And there's none. Not at all. She asks the abbess what she would do and what God would want her to do, and she's not given a religious answer. She's given you got to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, the marriage takes place in a church, but the nuns are not invited to the wedding. They're closed off behind these doors and not allowed into the chapel. And like I was saying, everything in the movie that we associate with traditional roles of religion, unity, healing, forgiveness, religion is absent in all of that. Faith in of itself is absent in all of it. What takes its place is music and is song. And then I was watching the composition of all of the scenes. Whenever there's a religious symbol, there's a musical symbol either on the same level with it or immediately after it. So this movie, if anything, is really trying to tell us that music is the new religion. And I think that is the reason why it would still go on, because I don't even know how many times I've heard people say that music has kept them alive, that music sustained them through difficult times. Yeah. This is the message that I think, or at least one of the messages that this movie teaches. Music can sustain you. Music can preserve families. Music can do this and this and this. And that message is very compatible. It's very safe. And it's very helpful for a secular audience. I mean, at the very least, we could point to the other fact that Maria forsakes marriage with God as a nun to join the marriage of the singing family.
Oh, that's true. Interesting. That is interesting. I don't think I've ever watched the film through that sort of a lens. Interesting. Okay. Well, fair enough. I mean, that makes complete sense to me. And to sort of continue on with that, I think that the film will last as, forever because of the story. And you had mentioned this, whatever, last question, but I think the story is so well put together, and it's just so well thought out. It just flows so nicely, and the characters develop just beautifully. I mean, this is a story that totally deserved Best Picture that year, absolutely. And I hope someday makes it into the Criterion Collection because I think it should. It's very well put together. It's just a beautiful, I hate to say piece of art, but it's art. It's just stunning.
Maybe I'm reading way too much into this. I'm sure I will get some hate mail for someone. That's okay.
Yeah. But no, I agree with you. I think it is interesting that, again, just another director who sort of leaves it to the audience to just kind of take with that as you will. And it was the same thing with The Seventh Seal. It was the same thing with Rashomon, where
I'm stopping you right there. We're not putting The Sound of Music on the same level as The Seventh Seal. I will give you a lot. I will not give you that one.
All right, fine. I'm just saying, fine, maybe I can't compare it to that film, but it's always refreshing when a director lets you interpret it.
Oh, okay.
That's all I'm saying.
All right.
Because you're right. He's setting up a lot of religious shots, but he's not saying religion, And so I think, and there are some times where I appreciate resolution. For instance, in The Sound of Music, they live happily ever after. Very nice ending. Love it. It's not ambiguous. It's not. Anyways, but it is nice when there's a theme that they're trying to get across, and it's not like, P.S. Don't kill the trees, like in the Lorax. The Lorax is a little, like, shoving it down my throat. And this was a nice, delicate balance. That's all I was saying or suggesting.
Okay. Fair enough.
Alrighty, well, that wraps up another episode. Thanks for tuning in. But let us know what you think of The Sound of Music. Why do you think it will hopefully live on forever and ever? And what are some of the pieces of the film that you enjoy so much? And why do you think it's similar to The Seventh Seal? We would love to hear your comments. We would love to hear your comments in the your thoughts in the comments section below.
They both start with the word "the" followed by a letter S in the second word, and that's when they stop.
Anyways, as always, you can follow us on social media and see all the things we're up to during the week. And we will see you in a couple of days, and we'll announce the contemporary film we're going to be doing. I'll give you a hint. It has the word Ghostbuster in the title. There's your hint. All right. As always, be sure to watch good movies.